Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. So today, this is my first video. I really wanted to get into some stuff that I did a haul on my Facebook page. So some of you may have made your way here from my Facebook page, while others may have found me from YouTube or Instagram or something like that. So some of you may already have seen these products and know what I'm about to get into and talk about. I do have something that I haven't shown on Facebook yet, so one thing, which is going to be a Real Techniques brush set, is new. Yeah, some of these products may have already been reviewed. Maybe I'm really late to the game, but that's okay. These are things that I have bought that I really wanted to give an honest review about, that, people who have seen the Facebook Live that I did with the haul, maybe you're interested in seeing them. So we're going to get right into it, and I'm going to show you guys these products, and we'll see how they fare out. Alright guys, so we are ready. We are armed with coffee, we are armed with Gatorade. By the way, if you do see me look over, my viewfinder is over here, so I may occasionally look over to make sure everything is okay, that my lighting isn't wonky, anything like that. Anyway, so first thing we're going to get into is I bought this today, the Real Techniques, and it is makeup brushes, but it's a prime and prep set. So this is to kind of eliminate using your fingers to apply your base, basically. Of course, I'm losing my mind on here already. Basically, it's going, like I said, it's going to eliminate, so you don't have to use your fingers to touch your face, to put on, your lotions, your primers, anything like that. So I really saw this and I thought this was great. Now it does come with 4 brushes. This retails for $20. I actually bought this at Christmas tree shops. So you get a prep brush, which this one is going to be to use to put on your lotions or anything like that. This second brush here is actually a dry brush, which you're going to use on your face to get rid of any dead skin, dry skin, anything like that. Your third brush is actually for any sort of eye cream or eye serum, and it really is just a little metal ball on the bottom. So it's supposed to help with a cooling effect, to help you, get rid of the bags under your eyes and stuff like that. And then your last brush is a lip scrub brush. Now, I have a lip scrub. I may try to test this one out because my lip scrub is actually like almost like a lipstick. You put it on. So we may give this one a shot too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with this dry brush again. So this one right here, I want to show you guys what this one is like. If you can see on the top of it, it really does have like these 3 little pieces that stick up. Now, if you have any sort of brush that you would use in the shower, that you would put like your moisturizers and stuff on. There we go. There's the word I'm looking for, moisturizers. It only took me, 5 minutes into this video to figure out. So this does, the bristles on this are a little rough. They're not hard or anything like that. They are just a little bit more dense, so they feel a little bit different. So I'm going to go right in with this one and really just circular motions across my face to make sure I'm getting all of that dead dry skin off. Now I'm going to focus on areas where I do get dry skin, which I'm going to focus more on those areas. So like my chin, my nose, my forehead are my really bad spots. I'm really just going to run this across my face for a minute, really get in on my nose. And the great thing about the products that I do use for moisturizers every day is that I don't have an issue much with dry skin anymore. So looking at the brush, I don't really see anything on it. But it, I'm so happy. Sorry if my ringtone goes off. If I had dry skin like I did before I started using Limelight, it may have made a much bigger difference, but because I really don't have that dry skin anymore, I'm really not worrying about it too much. So now I do want to go in with this prep brush. This is the one, it looks like a regular brush, but it is kind of great to have something to use so you're not touching your face, because the more you're touching their face, the more you have a chance to, you know, kind of get more bacteria on your face, especially if you have any open marks. Like, I do have a pimple right here, so I try to tend to not touch my face as much, so I think these are really great. I'm going to go in first with my Sotoks Limelight. This one is really good if you have, like, dry skin. These are all really good for dry skin. I like this one because this is also good for, like, anti-aging and everything like that. We are going to turn that down because I don't really feel like having that go off. So I did just 2 little pumps on there, put it right on the edge of the brush so you can see it. We're going to go right in. This really does apply very well. So that's kind of nice. It applies it well and it applies it evenly, so I'm not having like big globs of moisturizer in one spot. So I'm definitely liking this so far. Like I said, this is, you really don't want to touch your face as much as possible for the simple fact, like I said, that you can get all that bacteria spread across your face. That's how you get more acne. So, and of course, I am going to go in and touch my face after. I do want to see how this feels, how well it really pushed the moisturizer right into my skin, so I don't feel like I have leftovers on my skin. It didn't really, you know, suck into the brush or anything like that, so I don't have any extra product that's sitting there, which is good. You don't want to have a ton of extra product, you know, sitting in your brushes, so it's good that it didn't soak it up. I'm now going to go in, I have my Limelight Skin Therapist, and I'm also going to use my Limelight One Drop Wonder. This is a basic routine for me every day before I put my makeup on, so I'm going to stick to what I normally do and really give these a good chance. And all I'm going to do is just put a little drop of this in with my moisturizer. I do use 2 moisturizers, because again, and I'm going to probably say that a lot, I have a lot of dry skin, so I really try to make sure that my skin is very well moisturized before I put anything else on top of it, because I do not want to have dry, flaky skin when I put foundation on. So this is really moving everything around well, getting everything on my face really evenly, and I don't have to touch my skin while doing it. So that's really great. Now, I don't really have an eye serum, so testing this one out might be a little bit difficult. I will go in, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go back in with just a little bit of the Skin Therapist. So I'm going to put it right on the edge of that. So again, this is just a little metal ball. It doesn't move or anything like that, but it's supposed to help underneath your eyes to give you a cooling effect while applying like an under eye serum. That really does feel great. It feels nice and cold against your skin. Now, it is not really blending it into my skin well. Maybe that's because I'm using a lotion with it. But as far as what it says about the cooling effect, it is really great. And I'm sorry if occasionally my light pops off, my mirror right in front of me goes off after a few minutes. So this does not do the best job of putting it into the skin, but as far as giving you that nice cooling effect under your eyes, it does wonders for that. And I will continue to use this to see if it does anything under my eyes for dark circles or bags or anything. So I'll kind of update you again a little later on with that one. I do want to keep giving these a shot. This is my lip scrub. It is a little bit beaten. It is very well used. But what I'm going to do is just take this little lip scrub brush and I'm just going to kind of dip it into the top of this. Do I have anything that I can use? This is just like a spray I use on my brushes to wet them down. So I do have a little bit of the product on here. I don't know if you can tell. There's a little bit. And I'm just going to use it. This is a very stiff brush. I thought it would have a little more give to it than it does. But it is very stiff. I'm not sure if I really like this one. I mean, it is, I guess, supposed to be an exfoliant for your lips, so being that stiff probably isn't a bad thing, because it will exfoliate like it's supposed to. But the lip scrub that I have also has the beads in it to exfoliate as well. And it's not terrible. It is just a very rough brush. So I probably will only use that one when I am in very dire need of, you know, having really dry, chapped lips. Hopefully now that winter is going to be over soon, we won't have to worry about that as much. But, so first impression on that is that I do like the prep brush. I like having a prep brush to do something like that with, because, and again, yes, I am putting my hands on my face right now because I do want to feel, you know, I know how soft my skin is after using the Limelight products, so I'm just making sure that I didn't lose any of that softness, and I didn't. It does feel really good. Now, it does add some extra redness from kind of rubbing at your face with things, but other than that, I would say these are a definite yes if you are someone who is looking for something like this. They're really great little brushes. This one, if I did have really dry skin, I feel like this would be a definite must-have, because I do have, you know, the facial brushes that you would use in the shower, but obviously you're using those wet. So it is a good exfoliating brush, and it doesn't hurt occasionally. Actually, that one would probably be good to use with my skin polish. We might test that out some other time. So I am now going to put on my foundation, concealer, stuff like that. I'm going to do that all off camera so that I'm not on here forever, because obviously the next things I want to go into are eyeshadows that I did buy. So I'm going to go do my makeup off camera. Okay, so I am back. I have my base on. I've got concealer, foundation, more concealer, bronzer, and then I've done my eyebrows as well because I don't want to put you through the painful 5 minutes it takes me to put on eyebrows. I also have setting powder on. What I will do is I will list everything down below that I have used in this entire video. So that way if, you know, you're like, oh, I really like the way her bronzer looks or her foundation, concealer, whatever, you know what it is that I've used. Most of it is Limelight products because that is what I use for almost everything. I do occasionally get other things, like eyeshadows are the one thing that I do use outside of Limelight. Now, if you are here from Facebook, then you already know from yesterday that I did a haul from Ulta. I got some eyeshadows as well as a highlighting palette. So I'm going to get into one of the eyeshadow palettes as well as the one highlighting palette that I did get, if I remember where I put it. Starting this, doing all of this stuff here, everything has kind of made its way everywhere. Could have swore I just had that highlighting palette. Anyway, so I am going to get into the Revolution Naked Chocolate palette. I don't know how well you guys can see that. So I got this yesterday. I absolutely love this palette. I love the packaging of this palette. And I'm sorry if you guys see the cats in the background. They're always in here when I'm in here. This palette, just the packaging on these alone caught my eye. They had about 7 or 8 of these chocolate palettes. I do plan on going back to get more, even though they are very similar to other palettes that I did get yesterday from Revolution. I will do more videos with those palettes, but I really wanted to test out this one today and give my first impression on it because I actually have not used them yet. All I did yesterday was a swatch of them. So again, this is the Naked Chocolate palette. I get talking too fast, by Revolution. It comes with, let's look at the back here. It does not tell me. I did have the box. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so 16 shadows in here. It is a mixture of matte and shimmer shades. It does come with the little plastic piece that tells you what everything is. And I will make sure, again, down below when I do list it, that I list which palette or which colors out of the palette I did use. So here is the palette. Very neutral, very pretty. I am a sucker for neutral palettes. I like to wear a lot of neutral shades, so this one really caught my eye when I did see it. Yeah, I don't know. I do have this one. I do have another one that is pretty similar in color. I just found the highlighting palette that I was looking for. Let me see if I can get this other palette out from Revolution that I got yesterday. That is another nude palette. But again, I really wanted to dip into this one. And it does look like the Revolution palette looks like another palette that's out there that is like a chocolate bar. I don't know if this one smells like that. I haven't smelled it or anything. So here is the other Revolution palette, one of the 3 that I did get. This one is also another neutral palette, very similar, some very similar colors to this other one. And I kind of want to mix the two of these up, I'm not going to lie, because I do see a really pretty shade here in the corner, and then a couple other shades on here that I really want to dip into. Do I do it? Do I dare? I did lose I have it here somewhere, the piece to this one that tells you which color it is. I will find it. And then I did get one more Revolution palette. It was the Mermaid palette. That one is very bright colored. I did not have any palettes that have bright colors to them, which is why I got that one in the first place. And then the other thing I'm going to get into is this HD Get Baked highlighting palette. So I did do some swatches on this, and I will link my Facebook down below if you do want to see the swatches of this. I already know which color I want to use out of this, so I'm not going to do too many. I will swatch a couple of the colors out of these palettes so that we can see. Because, again, this is a first impression, so really want to give on here, even though I have kind of already talked about these on my Facebook, I do want to give my first impression of these products. So I am going to dip right in to, let's see, which color is this? Chalk Fest. So, dipping into it, this is, we can get it to zoom in here, there we go. So, very nice and creamy formula. Very buttery, very soft. Let's see how well it transfers on here. It does transfer well. Let me try to get my face out of here so that it actually looks at that. So it does transfer well. It does not have, there isn't really any fallout from the palette. And that was a matte shade. So this is still what's left over on my finger after swatching on my hand. So really, really good quality, really good pigment on here. That is really nice. You don't find that with a lot of palettes. Before I joined Limelight, I was a very cheap person when it came to makeup. So a lot of the palettes that I do have are cheap and had a lot of fallout and were very hard to blend. So I am excited to see how this one blends out. I have not tried that yet. Like I said, I didn't even put any more makeup on yesterday after I did my initial haul video. I'm gonna dip into this palette just because I do want to see what this color looks like. I may actually use both of these palettes and kind of give you a review on both of them. That is a really pretty color. Let me get right in there and show you. Very nice. This is the kind of color that I really used to like to wear a lot of. I did have a palette that had these colors in it, and it was a variation of this color. and I wore a lot of it. But again, it was a palette that really didn't give me a lot of payoff. So this one is really good. Again, very smooth, very nice feeling. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig right in. This one I believe has 32 shades in it, if I remember correctly. So you are getting a lot. This palette here was on sale at Ulta for like $7, I think. My Naked Chocolate palette was $15, I want to say, and then I believe the highlighting palette was $20. The other Revolution palette I got, I believe, was also $15. So the varying prices yesterday, they did have a sale going on, which is why I had popped in there, because I really wanted to give some other stuff a nice try. So for my brushes, I have some of them aren't in here right now because they are scattered all over my desk. I have this that I had bought off Amazon. It is the Shanty makeup brush set. I swear by this thing. I love these brushes. It has a ton of brushes in it. It has everything that you need. So the nice part is it tells you right on the brush handle what brush it is and what it's for and like the number and everything. So I really find that quite helpful for situations for people who don't know much about makeup and really aren't sure what they're doing and don't know, you know, what brush to use for what. So no, this is not sponsored. This is something I had purchased when I started doing Limelight. Okay guys, so this Revolution palette here, the Flawless 3 Resurrection palette, does have a little bit of fallout in it. I will not lie about that. I just blew a little bit of shadow off of it, but it is not a ton of fallout. So it is not a huge deal breaker for me. My Blood Sugar palette that I have has fallout, so, you know, when you see that, if it's a ton of fallout, like if you just dip in a little bit and your shadow is like half gone, that's a problem. That's not a palette that's worth it. So I am going to dip into this color. I will find out what this color is called for you guys. And I'm going to use this one as a base color. So here we go. And guys, I finally understand why it is that you see beauty YouTubers doing that kind of thing where they're taking their hand, because otherwise you can't see it. I do have a mirror right in front of me. This does come with a mirror itself. So I am going to go right in here and go right in and just kind of spread that all over the lid, because that helps so that when you're putting on color, or you're layering on eyeshadows, it doesn't move any of your foundation underneath. That color is a little bit darker than I expected it to be. It has really good pigmentation. Like, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it really did show up very well with just one small swipe into the pot. Very good pigmentation. It is very easy to blend so far. I don't know how well it's going to be to blend when I start getting into the other shadows I'm going to put on top of it. But so far, so good. I don't see it rubbing off as I'm trying to apply it or anything like that, which is something that occasionally happens with shadows. When you start applying a couple shadows on top of each other, they start getting muddy, they start blending into each other, then you start running into issues. So that brush that I just used, by the way, guys, is the EC002S. It's an angled crease shadow brush. So I really just use that one to kind of spread it around and blend it out. This right here is a tapered crease brush. It is the EC001. So I'm going to use this one to start putting color right into my crease and getting that really nice smoky look that I usually go for. I do like a nude shadow, or a nude look to shadow, but I do like to have a little bit of a darker smoky edge. So I'm going to go into, which color is this? I'm going to go into Tob-le-rone. I love this. By the way, these do smell slightly chocolatey. So they do have a good smell to them. They probably don't smell as good as some of the other ones that are out there. that may be, you know, a chocolate palette or a peach. I know there's a peach palette that smells like peaches. So there you go. That was just dipping into that Tob-le-rone a little bit. And I'm going to go right into my crease with that and just darken it up a little bit. Now those two shades that I'm using so far are slightly mauve-y colored, which is something that I really love. I love a mauve-y brown, like mauve to brown shadow. So I'm really just bringing that in around my crease and then just kind of bringing it halfway in as well, so that these two colors, when I do put the brown on, the lighter mauve color and then this darker mauve color do blend well into each other. And guys, these really are blending well, and I'm not getting fallout down here on my makeup. Normally I tend not to put my foundation and stuff on beforehand because I don't like having to deal with having a lot of fallout. There have been palettes that I've used where I've put everything on before and then I've had so much fallout underneath here that I actually have to wipe a full face of makeup off and start again because it ruins your makeup. I am going to go into this next shade, is actually Wonka. So I'm going to go into this brown right here. I don't want to go too dark like the Chalk Fest that I just used to swatch here. I want to keep it brown but not too dark because really all I'm doing is defining the edges here. And I'm going in and just doing a V shape kind of thing. I know, I'm really great with technical terms. I forgot how to say moisturizer earlier. Everything like that. So all I'm using that brown for is to really just define that outer edge and define and deepen the crease just a little bit. And that's it. That's all I wanted to do with that. I don't want to go too crazy with it. I don't want it all over the lid. I really just want a little bit of a smoke to the edge, and as well as to deepen things up a little bit so it gives it more dimension to the look. Now these really blend well. They don't make a huge mess when they blend. You're not losing shadow when you're blending out. Like I said, I've had issues where I've started to blend out and I'm losing shadow on the corner of my eye. And I really hate that. Like, that is something that drives me absolutely crazy. Because if I'm putting something on, I want my, you know, I don't want to have to layer and layer and layer shadow. These I dipped into 1 or 2 times, and I don't know how well you can see, but they've really blended well on the outside. I have that nice dark shade. I am going to go in with an angled blender, just this little brush right here, just to blend it out a little bit more and to make sure that we don't have any harsh lines. And I kind of really go in on this inner corner here to make sure that I didn't get too much of the dark shadow down there. And if I did, I can blend it right back up into the crease. And that's it. That's all I'm doing with that one. So I am going to choose a color for my inner corner. I think I'm going to stick with this Naked Chocolate palette. And I think I'm going to go in with Mocha Lover. So I'm going to go in with this color right here. Let's see how well you can see it. It kind of matches up well with the colors I already have on my eye. And I really just want kind of a glitzy inner corner. So what I'm going to do is just, if I can find what I did with that spray. With any glitters or metallics or anything like that, I always like to get a wet brush. So I'm just going in with a small packing brush, and I'm using this spray, which, like I said, I just use this to wet down my brushes. And I think all it really is just witch hazel and some essential oils. But I'm going to dip right into this color here. Which one was it? Mocha Lover. So there you go. This is the color on the brush. Now it is a little darker than I thought it would be, but we'll see what it looks like once we get it on. Okay, it's not dark at all. I'm just going to tap that on the lid a little bit and bring it about halfway over because I really just want to give my eye a little bit of shimmer. I don't want to go too crazy or anything like that, but I really like to have just a little bit of shimmer, and using a damp brush helps bring out that pigment a little more and makes it stick on your lid a little bit better as well. So there we go. That's, I'm gonna look at it with this. Yeah, it just gives a little tiny bit of shimmer and it packs it right on. And it really wasn't dark like I thought. And using it with a wet brush does also make it look a little more metallic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to dip back into that chocolate lover, or the Chalk Fest, I'm sorry. Okay, now it does, if I just dipped in with this brush here, this is just a little smudger. I like this brush because this is what I use down in these, on my lower lashes. Dipping in with this brush did give a little bit of fallout to the palette, but I do want to take and just smudge this right underneath my eye and just kind of bring it up a little bit, because I don't tend to wear eyeliner under my lower lash. So this just helps kind of bring out the eyes a little bit more and not have the lower lash look so plain compared to the rest of the eye. Really not much there. I just smudged it out underneath and that's it. So that's the end of that. I will be back in just a minute. I'm just going to throw some liner on and put on some mascara and put on some falsies and probably a little bit of lip color. And then I will come back and give you my final thoughts on these Revolution palettes. Okay, guys, so I am back. I have liner, mascara, lashes, and a lip color. The only thing I forgot that I wanted to do was get into this highlighting palette. So I do know what colors I want to use out of here. I'm actually going to dip into two. I'm going to dip into Holding right up here in the corner because it kind of matches that mauve-y color that I did on the eyes. And I'm also going to dip into Pearl right here, this kind of white gold color. Now I do love these highlighters. I have not used, oh no, I did use them on my face. I lied. I used them yesterday. I gave them a really quick test, but I'm actually really excited to really dip into them and see, you know, how they're going to work. I do need to grab my brushes. So I am going to just grab I guess we'll grab my fan brush and do it this time around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with Holding first, which is this mauve-y color with a little bit of like a white kind of pinky color to it. It doesn't look like there's much on there right now, but I have no highlighter on right now. This brush is not my favorite for doing highlighter. I'm actually going to find a different one. Now you can see it a little bit, but I think this has a lot more payoff than what I'm getting with that fan brush. So I am going to dip in with an angled crease brush and kind of go in. There we go. So it's a little more pink. Let me see if I can zoom you in on it a little bit. It is a little bit more pink than what I thought, but it isn't bad. It does have, and I should have known because I did swatch these yesterday, kind of what it looked like, but maybe over makeup it looks a little bit different. So, I mean, it's not bad. I do like that. It gives just a little bit of pink color to the face. Now it does have a little bit of fallout. Not a deal breaker for me because I do think the pigment on this is absolutely fantastic. So I am going to dip in. I'm dipping right into to Pearl now. And I want to go back over that. That has a lot of pigment to it. This one I absolutely love. This one I actually could have done with the fan brush. and not had a problem with it. I'm just going to do a little tap right on the edge of my nose, right up on my Cupid's bow, and actually, we're going to highlight the center of the lips with that too. And I do want to go back in with my fan brush and just kind of brush that out a little bit. So I think some of the colors you do need to use more of a brush like this with. Some of them, like the pearl color that I just went in with, really gives you the amazing payoff with just a fan brush. So I didn't have to go in with that brush. And you can see it right on the center of my nose there. I turn, like, that highlight is amazing. Color on the lips. Actually, what I could do is, if I can find which brush it is and where it is. You know, we're just going to dip in. I know I was talking about not using my fingers earlier. This is what it looks like on the finger, just dipped in a little bit. I'm going to put that right in the corner of my eye. This would be a lot better to do with a brush because of my fingernails. My brushes are everywhere at my desk. Typically when I do my makeup, my stuff ends up everywhere, and then I kind of don't know where to find anything after that. We're just going to use this one. I'm going to dip in with this little fluffy brush and just tap it into the corner of my eye. Doing something like that, putting a little highlight, putting a little white, gives your eyes more of a I'm awake type of appearance, which is why I like to do that, because with a 2-year-old, I do not get a lot of sleep. So, let's get into my thoughts and reviews on, I did the 3 Revolution palettes. That is not the right one. So, we have the Flawless 3 Resurrection palette by Revolution. We have the Naked Chocolate palette by Revolution, as well as the Pro HD Baked palette, highlighting baked palette. So, we'll go in with the 2 eyeshadows first because I did use those. Love the packaging. They're a sturdy plastic packaging. Love the fact that this has like the chocolate bar. Love the smell of this. I didn't actually wonder if it's just the smell of all of their eyeshadows. No, so that chocolate palette definitely has a good smell to it. It actually does have a chocolate smell. I think these are great eyeshadows. I think they have good color payoff. There is some fallout that I did start noticing after using them a couple times. So it does have some fallout, but you're not losing a ton of, you know, product when you're dipping into the pan. It does not have fallout when it comes to the eyes. I will zoom in and show you guys. I don't have color falling out under my eyes. I don't have any brown. Even when I did this, there's no fallout there. So that is a plus for me, that you may have fallout in the pan, but you're not having fallout when you're actually putting it on. They do blend very, very well. They were super easy to blend, super soft on. So love these. We'll continue to use them. I'm actually excited to use these and use my Bare Metals palette when I get it from Limelight. I think some of these colors with some of my Bare Metals colors are going to look absolutely fantastic. My Bare Metals palette that is coming is a metallic kind of palette, so it'll really give that really nice slick look that I got here by dipping that in today to a wet brush. Moving on to this one, I love this palette. Even that pink that I put on, you can still kind of see it there. It's slightly underneath the pearl color that I put on, but I think these highlights are amazing. You could use these highlights for eyeshadows to achieve this metallic, slick look that I did on my eye. This is an amazing duo use palette because you saw me. I used it right here to highlight here. I used it as like a lip highlight, which is also going to help set. I am wearing a matte lippy, but it's going to help set that matte lippy so it doesn't smear off or anything like that too. So this is a great multi-use palette. This is definitely worth the, I think, $15 to $20 that I spent on it. Absolutely worth the money. The palettes are worth the money. Will I buy them again? Yes, I will end up getting more of these palettes to use. I would like to get some other shades that they have. They do have, like I said, quite a different array, and a lot of them are very nude shadows, very browns, things like that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it. You know, this is, again, my first video, so there will be more to come. Drop me some comments below on things you would like to see if you need, you know, a makeup tutorial, how to do anything with your eyes, face, whatever. All of the products I've used today are in the description box down below, so you can see everything that I've used. If there's something that you're interested in, let me know. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see all of you guys next time.